again, this is Heidi Ellsworth, and we are live on the Coffee Conversation soundstage, sponsored by SRS. You know, a lot of times you say, I'm saving the best for last. I have to say that is somewhat true about this interview. It's the third day, and we finally got Mr. Steve Wadding onto the soundstage. I'm so excited. Steve, welcome.
Thank you, Heidi. Thank you for having me.
I know, it's so exciting. Okay, so short story that we won't go too long, but Steve and I actually, our first jobs, was Malarkey your first job in the roofing industry?
In the manufacturing side.
Yes, on the manufacturing side. So both of our first jobs were with Malarkey Roofing. We basically have grown up together in this industry, and here we are 30 years later. Do you know it's been 30 years
Yeah,
for me?
it has been 30 years.
I know. I
mean, total in the industry, my gosh, almost 50.
For you?
Yeah, and between the roofing days and then the manufacturing, yeah.
When did you start roofing? At 1?
I was roofing, actually as a teen.
As a teen, okay.
Yeah, you could do that back in the 70s.
I'm telling you right now, I'm going with the 30 number. I'm not touching that 50 number.
Yeah, but you aged better than I did, though. I mean, look at this. Criminy.
Well, you know, we've been working together a long time, so it's all good. Okay, so I have something really important to ask you, Steve. What I've noticed, the trade show, right? When you walk in and you see all the booths. I said this to somebody earlier and they were actually like, yes, but I only say this to a few people. This reminds me of the late 90s. Remember how big the shows were, how big the hospitalities were, how all the companies were rolling up? That's what this year reminds me of. Yeah,
there's a much needed trend that's coming back. Of the show being more about the people, about the interconnection with the attendees.
Right.
There's the booths are more open. There's more people
bigger.
to have conversations. There's little gatherings, so everybody's just having a better time.
Yeah, I know everything, you know, well, obviously with the recession, everything kind of went like a little bit down, and everything's coming back. So if you aren't here this year for IRE, I'm telling you, and I see it continuing into next year. The booths are amazing, everything, and I have to tell you, the Polyglass booth has always been amazing. I love visiting there, mimosas usually, and with a lot of great stuff. So how's the show been going for you, and what are you seeing at your booth?
The show's been great this year. We've had the traffic's been great because again, if you weren't at the IRE this year, you missed out.
Yeah.
Because there was good attendance, great questions, great quality questions. You know, Polyglass has continued to do its best to see what the market needs in maybe little niches in the market that are missing. So. Yeah. Our approach towards evolution has always been to what does the market need? What do our customers need? What do the distributors need? What do the homeowners need? What does commercial business need? Always trying to find what's missing and try to fill that gap.
It's an innovative company. There's just no question.
It is, for sure, and we've always prided ourselves in not thinking like a traditional manufacturer or modified bitumen company.
Yeah. It's so true. And speaking of innovation, let's talk about Adiso, right?
Adiso, yeah, this year we're celebrating our 20-year anniversary with Adiso. Adiso being the manufacturing process of mixing, if you will, different polymer modifieds together in one manufacturing sheet, and during the process. It's not something that's made partially here, made partially there, or partially done here and done someplace else. It's all done instantaneously, all in line, using true compounds, APP or SPS compounds with adhesive compounds, making a self-adhesive sheet that is suitable not only for the smallest of residential patios to the largest of commercial jobs. And in fact, this year we celebrated a 20-year project called the Chet Holyfield building in Laguna Niguel, California, which was probably the first largest self-adhesive job ever done, and that project is still standing today.
And working
Great. Just fine.
And do you know what? I walked that roof. I walked that roof because I used to work for Polyglass about 20 years ago.
It was on the cover of Western Magazine.
Yeah. It was on the cover of Western Magazine, and it is an amazing roof, an amazing building. 20 years. Wow. Yeah. How does that happen?
What's amazing. It's worked well. It was a good contractor.
Yeah.
The products were just as they were intended. The only bummer is GSA's talking about trying to sell the building, and who's going to want to buy a big brown pyramid? I don't know. I'm afraid it might get knocked down. That's the only kind of sad part.
And the roof will probably still keep going.
It is. It's working perfectly well. The only problem has been the expansion joints that got put in because the building owner just didn't know what to do with them. It's just, I mean, goodness gracious, if you'd have called, somebody could have helped you out.
Yeah, that's the truth all the time, isn't it? But really, when I think about the DISO technology, it was before its time. It was the leader in the industry, and now self-adhered membranes are the staple. I mean, and what contractors are using.
And not even just on the mod bid side. I mean, you're talking about a time where, the reality is Polyglass's bread and butter was APP torch. That's what we made day in, day out. And the decision we made back in those days was we're going to focus our marketing dollars in the self-adhesive technology that we came up with our partners in Europe and said, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And we've done it ever since. And it's just created a whole market category that didn't exist before. And now you see self-adhered single plies. You see everybody taking that approach to reduce things like insurance risk, not having to use open flame torches, that type of thing. Sure, there's still a lot of torch roofs and mop roofs and cold process, but self-adhesive is such a gaining marketplace.
Right, it continues to gain residentially and commercially.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Any other things that you saw or that you have in the booth that are kind of new, or anything you want to talk about?
We saw, we recognized some niches in the market on anchor sheet side that were it could be improved. Everybody that does business in Florida has realized, there's always been this ongoing conversation about, well, you nail number 30 felts and then you stick self-adhesives to them and they work so well. But the Florida Roofing and Sheet Metal Association always had concerns, and they were valid concerns, that some of the anchor sheets didn't bond. The self-adhesives couldn't bond to the anchor sheets as well because their quality was inconsistent. So now we've decided, well, there's a niche there. Yeah. So we've come up with a couple different poly anchor sheets that are going to serve a niche there. The HV as a scrim reinforced sheet. It's, the self-adhesive will bond very well to it, but it'll take care of that weakness because number 30 is not very strong. You put faster through it and it tears easily. Right. This won't because it has a scrim reinforcement, and the self-adhesive will bond better because it's an asphaltic compound, not an organic paper sheet.
I love it. I love it. So again, solving a problem.
Yeah, finding and whether people realize it was always a significant problem, but it was a significant problem. If it wouldn't have been a significant problem, then FRSA wouldn't have had such a concern for so long.
Right, and that's such a great organization.
It is. It is, and you try to cooperatively work with everybody because they're representing the Florida contractors who do tons of work, and they recognize a problem because they're doing it day in and day out, and they share it with their organization. As a participating member of FRSA, we hear that as we sit in the committees, we sit in the meetings and hear the complaints and try to come up with solutions. In this case, this seems to be a couple great niche solutions for problems that existed in that marketplace.
Right. It's so perfect. And you know what? I don't know if we did that. I don't think we did this at the beginning, but one of the things I love about what you're doing with Polyglass in your role right now is you are very active with every association. We saw each other at Spry. We see each other here. I mean, you and I are going to see each other a lot this year because of all the meetings that we go together. But that's a really cool role, and I think shows such dedication from Polyglass to have you in that role, to be that ambassador or liaison with all of the associations to make sure that you are hearing everything.
Exactly. Yeah, I've had the unique pleasure of being a third generation roofer. Yeah. You put on tool belts for a long time, worked with a few manufacturers, had the opportunity with Polyglass, small company, help invent products, and we've grown the company, helped build the technical side, the testing side, and now handing that baton off to guys that are doing a great job. And I can now just focus on industry organizations, and what a unique opportunity that is to do.
What a great job, Steve.
And just to get Polyglass's name out there and contribute hopefully to the betterness of these organizations.
Yeah, because it is a real give back to the industry. And your knowledge, your wisdom, and the wisdom and the backing of Polyglass, that says a lot.
Yeah, the organizations benefit by a broader sense of participation from manufacturers of different types of products. So then you have this open dialogue, and it really works out well.
Yeah, it really does. Well, my friend, thank you. This has been amazing, and we're going to be seeing each other at a lot more, probably at FRSA in Florida. You never know.
There's always something coming up next,
There's always
for sure.
something coming up next. So enjoy the rest of the IRE. We only have about an hour or so left, I believe.
Yes,
I can't believe
it's winding down quick.
It is winding down quick. Safe travels home, and we will be seeing you again soon. Be sure to check out the Polyglass directory. All this information is on there. They're a great celebration of Adiso technology, all their new products, and some great articles and podcasts. So check it all out. Look for Steve.